What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. So with 2020 pretty much entirely going to it would seem our last strand of hope was Rolex's promise of bringing us some new models September 1st. Well, at the time of filming, it is September 1st, so let's go ahead and take a look at why Rolex is just incredibly lazy, why their new releases are just a big disappointment, why everything is terrible, and why I wish I didn't wake up this morning. It's 3:15 p.m. Let's get down to business. Okie dokie, so out of every model they could have released, it seems like everyone was really anticipating a new Submariner for 2020. But really, all Rolex showed us was just how lazy they've gotten. You see, outside of giving this new Submariner a 3235 movement and a 70-hour power reserve, they really didn't change much at all with this watch, and let me explain. So the number one complaint of Rolex's Maxi case was that it didn't wear like a 40mm watch should. The lugs were just too beefy, it was just too big and awkward, and it was just a lot of watch on the wrist. And we all know, Oyster cases throughout history have worn much larger than they measure on paper. So objectively speaking, the Maxi case Submariner was the beefiest Submariner to date. At least that is until September 1st, when Rolex just released a 41mm Submariner. Now I know you guys are expecting me to freak out, oh my god, Rolex is making the Submariner even bigger than it used to be, they're moving in the wrong direction. Well, that's actually not the most troublesome part about all of this. The truth is, they really didn't change anything at all. So sure, the case diameter is now measuring 41mm, but they've now shaved the lugs down to a slimmer lug design. So really, those changes cancel each other out, making it wear exactly the same as it used to. So whether or not you have a 40mm Submariner with the Maxi case, or this 41mm Submariner with the slim lugs and sure, 1mm extra on each side, they're gonna be too much on the wrist, they're gonna wear exactly the same, and you've been duped. Now, they did make some actual tangible changes to their roster. They discontinued a few things that we knew they would. They got rid of the Rolex Hulk, and they got rid of the Rolex Smurf. But again, they did something else that's kind of confounding. So as I just stated, the Smurf is gone, right? Precious metal, white gold, blue bezel, blue dial. But they brought a different white gold Submariner with a blue bezel, but no blue dial, okay? It has a black dial and a blue bezel. So the black and blue GMT Master we call the Batman, the blue and blue Submariner we call the Smurf, so what do we call this black and blue Rolex? I'll just call it the Cookie Monster. I just don't see what's super desirable about this black dial blue bezel Submariner. It's just another black dial sports watch from Rolex, right? Like, why would you choose this one over the GMT Master 2? The Batman looks much more dynamic, it has a better complication. Sure, it's not precious metal, but it's a much more interesting watch and arguably much more functional. Them getting rid of that blue bezel, blue dial, again, this white gold Submariner, the Cookie Monster, as I'm going to coin it right now, it's just gonna look like every other black dial Submariner, and that's a bummer. Moving on to another bout of laziness from Rolex this September 2020. They're releasing the Sky Dweller line on some Oyster Flex bands. Very underwhelming. Guys, you putting a watch on a new type of strap or band or bracelet, that's not a new watch. That's not really a new release. If you're going to buy a Sky Dweller, you're gonna be getting it on the bracelet anyway. Why would you want to just... Very disappointing. The fact that they're marketing this as something to be excited about, it's not, okay? It's not. We're not excited about this. It's just silly, and they think we're stupid. You think I'm stupid? And finally, the Oyster Perpetual line has been bumped up to a whopping 41mm. That's right, so the very understated, elegant Oyster Perpetual is now 2mm larger than the Rolex Explorer and only 1mm smaller than the Explorer 2. Insanity! I guess the one bit of good news is that if you're looking for an obnoxiously hideous Rolex, you don't have to spend all the money on that stupid Daytona Leopard. You can just buy one of these and you have a multitude of hideous, loud, obnoxious watches to choose from. Yeah, look at those dials. Terrible. But guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Again, I got so many questions about what I thought was going to happen September 1st, and now that it is September 1st, my inbox is just blowing up, so I really need to just sit down and make this episode for you guys. It's just really unfortunate. You know, I think a lot of you out there, at least I've been accused of it in my comment section, I get called a Rolex fanboy. okay? And I would consider myself a bit of a Rolex fanboy, but I need to be very specific, a vintage Rolex fanboy, because at this point there's no way I can defend Rolex for this. This is just, it's underwhelming, but more than that, it's disappointing. So yeah, I don't know how you can put a watch on a new strap and call it a new release. I don't know how you can change the movement, but then really not do anything else and give it 1 extra millimeter, but then also cancel it out by making it slimmer and then this and that and then call it something new. Inevitably, people in the comment section will be like, well, what did you expect? What did you expect Rolex to do? Well, if you're saying that you're gonna give us a new model, then give us a new model. That's what I expect. But yeah, leave me that comment. I'd love some insight from you guys, and we can all debate about this in the comment section. But yeah, Rolex's 2020 new releases, man, that is just a new page in the tragedy that is 2020. But yeah, guys, I hope you learned something new. If there was anything to learn from this, I guess we can learn that, you know, Rolex is not the company they once were, and modern watches are just not nearly as interesting as vintage ones. Now, there are some modern watchmakers like Lasuta Original that are really trying some new things, giving us some really interesting things to look at, but those companies aren't, you know, no one cares about companies like that. But then Rolex, because they're Rolex, everyone pays attention to them, and hey, I love Rolex. They're like one of my favorite companies of all time, but when they do things like this, it's just, it makes me a lot less excited to see what they're going to do, and I'm almost expecting them to give us trash like this. So yeah, again, in the comment, I will see you in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with everyone you know. Check out the affiliate links in the description below. It really helps the channel out when you do that. Join the channel, become a certified T3 bot. You can join the debate over there on the members only Discord chat. I'm Jory Goodman, the time teller. Always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it. By the way, guys, I'm wearing my Rolex Explorer 2 reference number 16570. This is a true 40mm Oyster case. Man, one of the last good Rolexes here.